All was uncovered to his seerless eye.
So this word sealless here is very, very interesting. Um, it's an eye that never closes.
Mhm.
It's open to seeing everything. And this is, of course, Ashwapati's growth. So
Okay,
everything is uncovered. Uncovered. There's no covering to anything. He can see anything and everything. And now he'll tell us what he can see.
okay. A secret nature stripped of her defense, once dreaded, heart-light formidable, overtaken in her mighty privacy, lay bare to the burning splendor of his will.
So we have one word here, and I often see that Indian people pronounce it able, but in English it's pronounced formidable.
Formidable,
Formidable,
formidable. Okay.
yes. So not able. And you'll come across that many times, so it's
Yes.
good we catch it now.
Okay.
So
Double.
this secret nature is no longer has any defense. And once she is overtaken in her mighty privacy, and she's laid bare also to the burning splendor of his will. And now Sri Aurobindo will continue on.
In shadowy chambers lit by a strange sun, and opening hardly to hid mystic keys, her perilous arcanes and hidden powers confessed the advent of a mastering mind and bore the compulsion of a time-born gaze.
So, in these shadowy chambers that are lit by this strange sun, but they hardly even open to mystic keys. And what are they? They're perilous, in other words, dangerous, arcanes, secrets,
Mhm.
secrets, obscurities, and hooded powers. So that you see everything here is very strange because, first of all, it's involving peril, it's dangerous.
Mhm.
And the powers are hooded. In other words, you can't really see them, but he
Hidden.
can. So they confess, they admitted as true the
Mhm.
advent. Now, in modern usage, an advent is something applied poetically to any arrival.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's this arrival of Ashwapati, and they're confessing that arrival of his mastering mind. And they bore the compulsion, the force of a
Mhm.
time born gaze. Of course, he's
Okay.
a time born gaze because he has taken birth in a body.
Okay.
So we'll carry on now.
Okay. Incalculable in their wizard modes.
No, wizard.
Wizard.
Yeah, it's on the first syllable, wizard. No
Mhm.
ard there at all, just wizard.
Wizard. Okay. Incalculable in their wizard modes. Immediate and invincible in the act. Her secret strengths, native to greater worlds, lifted above our needy, limited scope, the occult privilege of demigods, and the sure power pattern of her cryptic signs her diagrams of geometric force, her potencies of marvel fraught design, courted employment by an earth nursed might.
So you're reading much better today, much clearer. So we see that all of these things that are normally inaccessible to us,
Mhm.
totally inaccessible to us, they bore this compulsion of this time born gaze of Ashwapati. They are incalculable in their wizard modes. They are immediate and invincible in the act. You cannot defeat them. And they're her secret strengths that are native to greater worlds. Those worlds are lifted above our needy, limited scope, and they're the occult privilege of demigods. So he's almost saying that Sri Aurobindo, that Ashwapati is now almost a demigod, and the sure power pattern of her cryptic signs. Cryptic here is mysterious, puzzling.
Mhm.
Her diagrams of geometric force, her potencies of moral fraught design, all of these things courted. So, courted here is gained, I think, courted employment. If you court someone, if a man courts a woman,
Mhm.
we understand it better like that. And these um, potencies, these diagrams, these power patterns, these cryptic signs have all courted employment by Ashwapati, an earth nursed might.
Okay.
It's clear to you?
Yeah, Narad sir, only thing this earth nursed might is that the force that is coming to him?
Oh,
Earth
that's the force that's already in him.
in him. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Earth nursed might. Okay. And courted employment, so we can say engaged for
Well,
courted engaged what
yeah,
maybe the
when you want to win favor with
oh,
something,
okay.
attempting to gain something. So they courted employment. They actually want his force by this earth nurse might, this force of Ashwapati. And
Okay.
so employment is the purpose for which something is used. And so they want to be used by him
Okay.
very clearly.
Okay. Yep.
Good.
A conscious nature's quick machinery armed with a latent splendor of miracle, the prophet passion of a seeing mind, and the lightning bareness of a free soul force. Okay, that's a period.
Yes. So, what are we seeing here? We're seeing a number of things. We're seeing this conscious nature's quick machinery, because nature is always experimenting quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and nature is capitalized here, so it is the nature. And it's armed with a latent, that's latent is capable of being developed, but not yet manifested. In other words, hidden or undeveloped.
Mm-hmm.
Armed with a latent splendor of miracle. Armed what? The prophet passion of a seeing mind. Oh, I see. The prophet passion of a seeing mind and the lightning bareness of a free soul force. So now we're learning um, that Ashwapati has, has many, many things here. has a seeing mind, and he also has in the first line of the next page, a free soul force.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to see what can happen here, or what is happening with Ashwapati.
Okay. So Narad sir, one question here. On the previous page, last line, profit, passion of a seeing mind. Is that the passion to have that Trikala Drushti?
Yes, I would say so. It's we know what a prophet is. He sees things in advance, and but here it's a prophet passion, hyphenated word, because Sri Aurobindo wants us to know that Ashwapati has this prophet passion and he has this seeing mind. Very
Mm-hmm.
important. The prophet passion of a seeing mind. And that, of course, tells us about the next page and the lightning bareness. See, lightning bareness, in other words, it's a free soul force that Ashwapati now has. And all of these things that we've just read about are about Ashwapati and his free soul force, his ability to see everything. Remember, seerless eye? It
Mm-hmm.
begins with that seerless eye and it ends with that free soul force. And now he's going to tell us what is going to happen because Ashwapati has this.
Okay. All once impossible deemed put down with him a natural limb of possibility, a new domain of normalcy supreme.
So all that was seemed impossible, deemed, judged impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So all that was once seemed impossible could now become a natural limb of possibility, a part, a branch of possibility, and even a new domain of this supreme normalcy. Normalcy is, of course, just the quality of being normal.
Okay.
Good. So now we'll move on. Huh? And now he's going to go, Sri Aurobindo is going to give us this wide, wide view of things.
An almighty occultist erects in space this seen outward world which tricks the sense. He weaves his hidden threads of consciousness. He builds bodies for his shapeless energy. Out of the unformed and vacant vast, he has made his, his sorcery of solid images, his magic of formative number and design, the fixed irrational links. None can annul this crisscross tangle of invisible laws, his infallible rules, his covered processes achieve unerringly an inexplicable creation where our where our error carves dead frames of knowledge for a living ignorance.
So I would say the only word was inexplicable. 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 But you read very well. And we're seeing now all of these things as one long, long sentence. We're seeing of this almighty occultist who's a divine, erects in space. What does he erect in space? Well, the first thing is this seeming outward world, which tricks the sense. Now, here we have to go back to the understanding that we are in the lowest zone of ignorance, body, life, and mind. And when we get above that into the spiritual ranges of consciousness, we see that this is only a seeming outward world to us in our ignorance, which tricks the sense. And therefore, this almighty occultist weaves his hidden threads of consciousness. He builds bodies for his shapeless energy out of the unformed and vacant. And here, I think maybe it would be good if you use the British pronunciation vast, not
Okay.
vast, but vast.
Okay.
Out of the unformed and vacant vast, he has made what? His sorcery of solid images, his magic of formative number and design. He's even made these fixed, irrational links that nobody can annul, nobody can get rid of them. This
Oh,
crisscross tangle of invisible laws, his infallible rules. Infallible rules are incapable of failure. And in the Catholic Church, they say when the Pope speaks on two things, I don't remember what they are, but he is infallible, incapable of error. His
oh,
infallible rules, his covered processes. And what do? They achieve unerringly and inexplicable. That means something that's difficult to explain.
okay.
Inexplicable, difficult to explain. And what is that? It's a creation where our error carves dead frames of knowledge for a living ignorance. So that puts us in our place. that
Hmm.
we that we our error, because we cannot see this the infallible rules of the divine, and yet they achieve without any error an inexplicable, something difficult to explain, creation. And in that creation, our error carves dead frames of knowledge for a living ignorance. And Mother says that all that the mind can do
Mm-hmm.
is speak in ignorance, because it's only when we get into the higher mind, in the first level of the spiritual planes of consciousness, that the mind really can see and understand clearly. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, our era is carving dead frames of knowledge for a living ignorance. And I think we better go for your reading now, because we have quite a bit here.
Oh,
So we'll go on page 83 again. Mother says the true role of the mind is the formation and organization of action. And if it would only confine itself to that role, receiving inspirations, whether from above or from the mystic center of the soul, it would amply fulfill its function. It is not an instrument of knowledge. And here we go right back to those lines in Savitri.
Narad sir, if you don't mind, can you repeat it one more time? Organization and something you said of action, the rule of the mind.
Mind has a formative and organizing power, and it has an organizing action.
Okay.
But the mind doesn't confine itself to that, unfortunately. So Mother says that in her questions and answers. It is an instrument of organization and formation, very powerful and very capable when it is well developed. Mother's so clear.
Yes.
Okay,
Very
so
well thought.
you'll begin now because we only have 5 minutes.
All
All
is uncovered his sealess eye, a secret nature stripped of her defense, once in a dreaded, half-lit formidable,
no half light,
overtaken.
half light. Once in a dreaded half light, formidable. It's a formidable half light.
Okay. Once in a dreaded, half-light formidable, overtaken in her mighty privacy, lay bare through the burning splendor of his will, in shadowy chambers lit by a strange sun, and opening hardly with mystic keys her perilous arcades and hooded powers, confessed the advent of a mastering mind and bore the compulsion of a time-worn gaze. Incalculable in their wizard modes, immediate and invincible in the act, her secret strengths, native to greater worlds, lifted above our needy, limited scope, the occult privilege of demigods, and the sure power pattern of her cryptic signs, her diagrams of geometric force, her potencies of
Potencies,
marble
potencies, her
potency,
potencies.
her potencies of marble fraught design, courted employment by an earth nursed might. A conscious nature's quick machinery armed with the latent splendor of miracle, the prophet passion of a seeing mind, and the lightning bareness of a free soul force, all once impossible, deemed could now become a natural web of possibility, a new domain of normalcy supreme. An almighty occultist erects in space a seeming outer world which tricks the sense. He weaves his hidden threads of consciousness. He builds bodies for his shapeless energy. Out of the unformed and vacant vast he has made his sorcery of solid images, his magic of formative number and design, the fixed irrational links, uncanny annul, this crisscross tangle of invisible laws, his infallible rules, his covered processes achieve unerringly in achieve unerringly an inexplicable creation where our error carves dead frames of knowledge for a living ignorance.
Good reading. I would only suggest that you try and remember vast,
Past. Okay.
vast, vast, American, vast. No, vast is much more beautiful.
Past. Okay.
Good, good reading today. And you read slower, and I appreciate it. Oh, my time is up. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Yeah.
See you next week.
Thanks a lot.